Months ago, when the new Velma show was announced, we knew it would be bad, but the media tried calling us ists and phobes simply for saying it looked terrible, and they changed every single character in it. But now our fears are confirmed because HBO has shut off comments on their newest YouTube trailer because of how badly they're getting roasted. Critics are apparently very mixed on the series, and early user reviews are very negative. I have a bunch of different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and to the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So as you can see on Rotten Tomatoes, the scores have finally gone up. Now, a couple of days ago, I actually talked about early critic reviews, and all of the critic reviews that I saw were actually very positive, like Discussing Film said it was a really great show. They gave it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. There were other outlets saying that it's big and gay and amazing. The early critic reviews are very different than what we are seeing right now on like Rotten Tomatoes. Of course, over the next few days, I'm sure a lot more critic scores will go up because it says there are only 10 reviews on here currently for critics, but it is sitting at a 60%, which is lower than I expected it to be from them. But the audience score is just as bad as I thought it would be because it is now sitting at an 18%, which of course is terrible. In 2022, we saw a lot of shows release that got awful user reviews, but we are off to a awful start with 2023 because, you know, we were all expecting this to be bad, and I'm sure we're going to get worse content this year too. So, as you can see, the first reviews that are going up for audience are all negative. It doesn't really seem like many people who were excited for the show have watched it yet. There is like a small handful of 5 stars, but it seems like they just want to counteract the negative ones that are being left now. So, the first review on this page is a 0.5 star out of 5, saying the first episodes are really unbearable. The writers wanted to say in every minute a meta commentary, but they are not using it in a good way. It is just to show off their characters are better than other shows, and honestly, they stereotype every possible scenario to make cringe jokes, believing that they look modern and fresh. And it's actually funny that this first review talks about cringe jokes because in the Discussing Films article on this show, I believe it was, they said that the cringe jokes make it good. And of course, some people like that type of humor, but it didn't seem to stick with like anybody else besides them. A 1 out of 5. She's not Velma. They just made a very weird series using the Scooby-Doo universe. This is a massive problem that I had with the initial teasers and trailers and just this show in general, is that for most of the characters, they're just taking their names and making them a whole new character, but they also replaced characters. First of all, Scooby-Doo isn't even in it, and Shaggy is now Norville. He's a different character, and Daphne and Fred and Velma, they are very different from their original versions. So they just kind of decided, wow, let's put Velma's name on the title and get people with Scooby-Doo nostalgia and love to watch this, but all they really did was put out the worst content possible, and they, as you can see, are getting absolutely annihilated for it. 0.5 star out of 5 again. I love the Scooby-Doo franchise and have really enjoyed introducing it to my kids. My oldest son especially loves it. I was interested in what a more adult take on the series would look like, and boy was I disappointed by these first 2 episodes, changing nearly all of the characters for the worse, injecting so much meta humor into it, and essentially taking everything people enjoy out of the series and erasing it. Yeah, I mean, we basically knew that they were going to do that when and Mindy Kaling had said, you know, this is a new, fresh take on Scooby-Doo, and it's going to be for adults. And I like shows, movies, games, just entertainment in general that is more adult-focused because it does make, you know, more adult jokes. But it just seemed like they tried to do something really different with this series, and it did not pay off for them. And if we go on over to YouTube, they have posted several trailers, but they finally posted like the final official trailer for the show. It's number 14 on trending right now. And as you can see, it has over 2 million views in a day, which is pretty good. But the like to dislike is awful, and they decided to turn comments off because people are upset over this show. People are saying it's awful, I have no interest in it, why would you create this trash? And as you can see, it's got 6.9k likes to 134,000 dislikes, and all of the other Velma teasers have gotten ratioed as well. It just seems like they took a chance on Mindy Kaling and this series, and it did not pay off for them. It doesn't seem like anybody's really that excited for it. Nobody's really enjoying it. And again, there are a few 5 stars here, but it just kind of seems like they wanted to counteract the negative reviews. Also, if you haven't seen the plot synopsis for this series, let me read it to you so that any interest you have in the show would be flushed down the toilet. It says, at Crystal Cove High School, Daphne is a popular mean girl orphan who deals drugs because of a dark family secret. Her boyfriend, Fred, personifies mediocre white richness. His mansion holds a dark secret, and he has teeny whittle privates, a subject of much conversation. Shaggy has become Norville, a school newspaper striver friend-zoned by his beloved Velma. He worries he's a beta male. Remember that lame humor concept from 20 years ago? Who wrote this and thought that this was a good idea? This is just so awful. It's like they wanted people to hate this series. They made Shaggy a new character who is an incel. He's friend-zoned. He loves Velma. He's a beta male. Then you have Fred, who has a small dick and has a lot of white privilege. And then you have Daphne, who's a mean girl, but she deals drugs. Like, this just sounds like the worst concept possible, but they went ahead with it. They've tried to make it a big show. They've marketed it. They've put a lot of ads on the internet for this series. There's no way that this was going to be successful, but they apparently thought that it would be hilarious, and it's just gone terribly for them. At the end of the day, I can't say I'm surprised by all of the backlash that has surrounded this series. The 18% is hilarious, but probably accurate. I honestly think that it's going to drop a little bit more, probably to like a 12 to 15%, but only time will tell. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.